Tonight on CFTK-TV News, 2 people are wanted by police in the Northwest. We feature Prince Rupert's most dedicated wildlife rescuer and a troubling viral new trend with teens.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday, September 11th, 2025. I'm Jaylene Matthews. The Terrace RCMP are asking for the public's help to determine the whereabouts of a wanted woman. 36-year-old Chelsea Eden Amaranth is being sought out on a pair of warrants for breach of probation and taking a vehicle without consent. She's described as 5'8" and about 240 pounds with brown hair and eyes. Anyone who has information on where she might be located is asked to call the Terrace RCMP or Crime Stoppers. The Smithers and Houston RCMP are also looking for a wanted man. The police are looking for Bobby Tyler Kwok, who is wanted for a breach of probation order. Police also noted that this is the 4th time that Kwok has had a warrant issued for his arrest. He's been described as an Indigenous man who's about 144 pounds and 5'10", with black hair and brown eyes. If you have information on his whereabouts, call the Smithers RCMP or Crime Stoppers. In Prince Rupert, a remarkable woman has dedicated nearly a century of her life to caring for injured and abandoned wildlife. At 90 years old, she continues to run a small shelter that has become a sanctuary for animals in need. CFTK-TV's Helen Asante has more.
From rabbits, ducks, owls, and even eagles, her home has turned into a refuge for creatures that might otherwise be lost.
We've put over 3,000 cats into new homes since we started and never charged a penny for one of them.
She is an inspiration, a formidable woman who has given her life to protecting and nurturing wildlife. While she occasionally receives volunteer help, she says more support is urgently needed, especially access to health care for the animals in her care.
To get help diagnosing the birds and the animals without paying an arm and a leg, that I just don't have that kind of money.
Getting antibiotics is also her main challenge, she said.
Trying to get antibiotics, because everything that comes in here, it's either broken or it has infection or it's been bit by another animal. Antibiotics you have to have.
Her message is simple. Saving wildlife is a community effort, and every hand and every resource makes a difference. And at 90, she shows no sign of slowing down.
Just keep going, one foot in front of the other. You don't quit till everybody's fed, watered, and comfortable for the night.
Helen Asante, CFTK-TV News, Terrace.
And with the community's support, Nancy's shelter can continue to be a safe haven for wildlife in need. She said she's always seeking dedicated volunteers. Prince George and Vanderhoof RCMP were busy shortly before 6 p.m. on Wednesday as they investigated multiple bomb threats to facilities in each community. The first call was received at the University Hospital of Northern BC, with subsequent phone calls being received at assisted living facilities, one each in Prince George and Vanderhoof. Police say that recent relevant protocols were enacted at the 3 locations while police officers conducted searches throughout the buildings. In conjunction with other investigational factors, police say they determined both bomb threats to be false and related to one another. It is believed there are no ongoing threats to public safety. The investigations remain ongoing. Coming up next, temporary foreign workers feel the squeeze. Welcome back. The town of Smithers announced that they're moving forwards with multiple new initiatives that are intended to support the vulnerable. Town Council awarded a contract at their latest meeting that will see security personnel patrol the downtown core and other strategic locations, while also looking out for the temporary overnight sheltering area by Town Hall. The personnel will be active between the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. Prime Minister Mark Carney has unveiled the first 5 projects on Ottawa's fast-track list aimed at attracting outside investment and bolstering the Canadian economy. 2 of the 5 projects in the announcement are in Northwest BC. Both Phase 2 of LNG Canada and Red Chris Mine near Iskut are on the list. But not everyone is convinced that the Prime Minister's list actually equates to commitment. CTV's Abigail Biman has more.
Mark Carney tried to drive home his message.
It's a single point of contact to get nation-building projects built faster.
Announcing the first 5 projects and more in development, led by a former energy executive at the newly opened Major Projects Office.
To get to one project, one review, one decision in a 2-year time frame will set Canada apart globally.
The Prime Minister acknowledged several are already further along, like LNG and Kitimat. He says in all cases, engagement with Indigenous groups is very advanced, and within 5 years.
Yes, some of those projects, shovels will be in the ground.
But the opposition leader points out no shovels yet.
He's not permitted a single major mine, pipeline, nuclear plant, or anything else. What he's done today is announce that he's going to send an email to an office that isn't even fully staffed up yet, which will one day consider possibly approving 5 projects. This is pathetic.
As for money in a new spend less, invest more environment, the Prime Minister says being more efficient doesn't cost much. It's not clear how much Ottawa will spend otherwise.
We expect with the vast majority of these projects that federal dollars will catalyze many multiples of private dollars.
CTV News asked the Prime Minister what success looks like. He said, in part, it's about changing attitudes so people believe Canada can build big. He also says the next list of projects will be out by the Grey Cup.
As stakeholders react to Prime Minister Carney's list, the prognosis is mixed. CTV's Mike Lecouteur has more.
Finally, they get it.
Alberta's premier is encouraged by the Prime Minister's plans, even though a pipeline wasn't part of them. The province's Pathways Plus carbon capture project is on a secondary list, and Danielle Smith is signaling she's going to work with Ottawa.
Hopefully in time for that next tranche of announcements and at the Grey Cup. But I would just encourage Albertans to not lose faith in the process. Let's work together on it.
Upgrades to the Port of Churchill in Manitoba is also on that secondary list. It's the only Arctic seaport in this country serviced by rail.
Last few weeks, we started to see those GDP numbers, employment numbers across Canada start to show that our economy needs a jolt of life. And I think one of the ways that we can do that is by building up the full potential of Churchill.
Not everyone is pleased with these projects. The Union of BC Indian Chiefs believes the federal push to double LNG production as a nation-building project is trampling on Indigenous people's rights to free, prior, and informed consent.
There was absolutely no effort at any substantive consultation with the First Nations people before these projects were contemplated, planned, and initiated.
Grand Chief Phillip has also criticized the Prime Minister's Indigenous Advisory Council for major projects, saying it does not replace the legal duty to consult with First Nations peoples within the territories impacted by future projects.
Temporary foreign workers who have come here to make a life are now facing the prospect of having to return home in the face of a struggling job market and at the mercy of the government's decision. CTV's Brendan Strain reports.
What we are seeing is politics being played out over policy.
Restaurants Canada, a national advocacy group that represents the food service industry, is calling out Premier David Eby after these words last week, taking aim at the temporary foreign worker program.
That program needs to be either reformed significantly or cancelled.
He went on to say that temporary foreign workers are flocking to food banks and homeless shelters.
Young people are facing challenges getting into the employment market.
The president of Restaurants Canada says the food service industry is where many young people begin their working careers, and her stats don't align with the premier's.
Temporary foreign workers make up 3% of the food service workforce nationally, and they make up 1% of the total workforce in British Columbia.
We actually feel betrayed.
There is a heavy cloud over Victoria's Philippine Bayanihan Cultural Center today. Roughly 5,000 temporary foreign workers rely on the center for community And many are now questioning what their futures will be after working so hard to build a life in Canada.
Because when they go back, what's going to happen to them? They don't have a house, they don't have a job, and where are they going to be? So they have to start again all over.
The president of the Cultural Centre says many of those TFWs are filling gaps in Victoria's workforce, including the service industry, retail, and home healthcare. Sectors that are on the lower side of the pay scale. Industries that business owners struggle to find workers for.
Industry in here will be crushed, right?
If the program was to be scrapped, it would be up to the federal government to make that call. The Filipino community says if that happens, those that are already here should be allowed to stay.
They are qualified, they should be able to stay in Canada, and that's what they should do.
For now, much of the political speak has many concerned, including those in the restaurant industry, who say temporary foreign workers are keeping Canada's economy afloat. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Victoria.
Next, let's take a look at your Northwest weather report. Tonight on the North Coast, expect rain, about 20 to 30 millimeters, winds from the southeast at 20 kilometers an hour, becoming light this evening, temperature steady near 14 degrees. Over the next few days on the North Coast, expect overcast skies until Sunday when the sun might peek out. Daily highs between 14 and 16 degrees, overnight lows between 10 and 13 degrees. Tonight in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expect periods of rain, about 5 to 10 millimeters. Winds from the south at 20 kilometers an hour, gusting to 40, becoming light this evening, a low of 13 degrees. Over the next few days in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expect periods of rain to continue till Sunday when the sun might come out for a bit. Daily highs from 14 to 15 degrees, overnight lows between 8 and 13 degrees. Tonight in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, it's looking mainly cloudy with a 30% chance of showers before morning. Winds from the southwest at 20 kilometers an hour, becoming light this evening, a low of 8 degrees. Over the next few days in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, expect showers and rain, but sunshine on Monday. Daily highs between 17 and 21 degrees, overnight lows between 6 and 12 degrees. Checking your highways around the Northwest now. On Highway 16, there's construction in Prince Rupert with a detour in effect. Bridge maintenance, road maintenance, utility work, mowing, and paving operations underway. On Highway 37, watch for a maintenance with an overnight closure and detour in effect for passenger traffic only, as well as bridge maintenance, construction work, and mowing. On Highway 37A, there's paving operations as well as a section with falling rocks. And on the Niska Highway, watch for road construction and mowing. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come, a new generation of ding-dong ditch that isn't going over well. The public shooting of Charlie Kirk yesterday has generated shockwaves. The unidentified suspect is believed to have jumped off a roof and fled to a neighborhood after firing one shot, authorities said. CTV's Joy Malbin reports.
It was an open-air event, a debate on a Utah college campus. Witnesses say Charlie Kirk, a conservative activist, was asked about mass shootings when he was fatally shot in the neck.
Oh my God. Go, run, run. Whoa.
Panic and chaos in the crowd as students ran for cover.
You just hear the gunshot and I'm sorry. You just see his neck just open up and there's just so much blood that just came out. It was horrible.
Police believe the shot was fired from a higher location about 200 yards away. This, says the governor, was a targeted killing.
It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
Kirk was a massive figure in the MAGA movement, sometimes called the Trump Whisperer, leading an army of young conservatives key to Donald Trump's election success. He was even given a prime speaking spot at the Republican convention.
Good evening. I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA.
Radio host, podcaster, the voice of young conservatives, he was controversial and said he was no stranger to death threats. Tackling subjects like transgender rights, questioning vaccines, promoting Christian values, Kirk had the ear of President Trump on down.
He's done something that is just incredible for somebody really of his age.
Tonight, the president lashed out at political violence while praising Kirk.
I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law. Charlie was the best of America.
A husband, a father, the president ordered flags lowered for Charlie Kirk. As another act of political violence, as politicians from both sides of the aisle demanding America do better.
Our nation is broken. Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken.
A troubling trend among teens, fueled by the desire for clicks and likes, is disturbing people in their homes, and police are warning residents to be wary. CTV's Genevieve Beauchemin explains.
The name of the game, Ding Dong Ditch, doesn't quite describe what are now at times frightening confrontations. Eve Duranceau is a well-known Quebec actress. She's struggling to shake off the fear that came knocking twice late in the evening last week.
It was not ding dong or knock, knock, knock at all. It was something very violent, a big noise.
She thought it was a home invasion. It turned out to be teenagers hitting and kicking her door. In her pajamas, she opened.
One of the guys said, "Is it you?" And he said, "Yes, it's me, like, F you," something like that. And he was filming.
It's a search for clicks and likes that has transformed this from a young children's prank into an intrusive gotcha moment to be posted online. We suggest that you stay inside your house. Don't confront them, says Commander Jean-Sébastien Marcotte. In some extreme cases, confrontations have taken a dramatic turn. A Texas man is facing a murder charge after shooting an 11-year-old boy who ran his doorbell. Earlier this year, men from Saint-Sauveur, Quebec, ended up pleading guilty to a charge in connection with a case where a 15-year-old was found tied up in a garage. That's far different, of course, from how Duranceau reacted. She called police and says she's now speaking out so that neighbors speak to neighbors to help cool down this trend.
The teenagers are like, "Okay, we've got this woman, she's panicking, it's perfect for our video." I want my friends or everyone to know that not to do that.
Now, police say those on the other side of the doors should report incidents to police so they have a full understanding of the scope of the issue. Genevieve Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Turning to the markets now, strength in industrial stocks helped Canada's main stock index reach new ground following a string of record highs, while U.S. markets also broke records. The Canadian dollar rose under 1/10 of a cent. The price of gold was down $8.40. Oil dropped $1.30. Natural gas was down 10 cents. Aluminum gained $3. In Toronto, the TSX was up almost 229 points. The Venture Index gained almost 8. In New York, the Dow rose 617 points and the Nasdaq gained 157 points. Still ahead, centenarians smashing fitness goals. A new study on climate change points to pollution when pinpointing the worst change makers. CTV's Kathy Lee reports.
The deadly heat wave in BC 4 years ago, just one of many examined in a new study published in the journal Nature. Researchers found climate change increased the probability and intensity of more than 200 heat waves globally that happened between 2000 to 2023. And carbon emitters they researched contributed to dozens of those extreme weather events.
This work is just another reminder that we need to phase out fossil fuels as soon as possible.
180 fossil fuel and cement producers were looked at, responsible for nearly 60% of carbon emissions worldwide. Some of the largest, fossil fuel and coal producers from the former Soviet Union and China, followed by oil companies Saudi Aramco, Gazprom, and ExxonMobil. There are also 8 Canadian companies on the list, 7 headquartered in Calgary: ARC Resources, Canadian Natural Resources, Cenovus, Obsidian, Ovintiv, Suncor, Teck Resources, and Tourmaline Oil, which were ranked between 70 to 163.
Even relatively small carbon majors, which are not in the top 14, they may still have a significant contribution to the heat waves.
Experts in climate say the findings of the study has the potential for legal proceedings against fossil fuel and cement producers.
You have a legal responsibility when you find out your product is causing massive harm to actually look for alternatives and build and move forward in a different direction. And Canadian companies and companies around the world haven't been doing that.
The Canadian oil and gas companies CTV News reached out to for comment did not respond to our request by deadline, except for Teck, which says it no longer has any interest in oil sands. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
One can only hope to maintain their fitness through the senior years. And the best of the best in BC are competing this weekend at the 55-plus Senior Games in Nanaimo. And as CTV's Andy Garland reports, 55 can be truly only the starting point.
Betty Brussel is the oldest competitor at the 55-plus games in Nanaimo.
I am 101 years old.
She's swimming in an impressive 6 events and has been competing at the games for decades.
This is my 35th time.
Betty is one of 2,700 participants from all corners of the province, competing in 21 sports and activities throughout the Harbour City this week.
It's the largest multi-sport event in the province.
There's a wide range of activities, from team sports like hockey and soccer to individual events like equestrian and even billiards.
Promote active living and being active for life. Our logo or tagline is for life, sport, and friends, and that's what it's all about.
The most popular event at the Games is also the fastest growing sport in the entire country. Pickleball has 350 participants and registration sold out within a day.
It's just an amazing sport. It's all inclusive for everybody. You know, anyone from any age can play it.
We're all here supporting. Like, they're supporting us. Like, yeah. How great is that?
They came here at like 7:45.
Disc golf, a sport that has grown in popularity on the island, including in Nanaimo, is making its debut at the Games.
For all ages, often free on most courses. It's great exercise. You get outside.
It's been almost 20 years since the last time Nanaimo hosted the Games.
The economic impact is enormous, and we just love to have people come because they come back again after they see our beautiful city and our beautiful waterfront.
The 55-plus Games encourages people to stay healthier longer, not only for their physical health, but their mental health as well.
I love to swim. Makes me feel really good to swim. I always feel good when I have a swim.
And doing something you love is what keeps Betty and these other competitors active. Andy Garland, CTV News, Nanaimo.
That's our news for now. Remember, you can find all of our stories online on CFTK-TV.com, as well as TikTok and YouTube. Thanks for watching.